Bless me, Father, for I've sinned. It's been about, Christ, it's 20 years since my last confession.
Mikey.
Yeah, can I get 2 cheeseburgers, a side of fries, and throw in the Holy Spirit?
You're the only prick who would come here and order fast food. So, what are you scared of?
Everything. It's like everything I've ever done in my life. Good, bad, everything. It just feels like this dream. No matter what I do, I'll always be who I was, not who I am.
It's fair enough. So who are you?
What's this I hear you fighting tonight? In the garden, that's big!
You're the only prick I know can smoke a pack a day and still go 12 rounds.
Today's my last day. I'm sorry I didn't give you more. Just remember the good.
Whichever way it goes tonight, just know that we're proud of you.
No matter what happens, I need to know that you will pay.
Kid, I love you, you know I do.
But you gotta let things go.
I got nothing, okay? I got no wife, I got no kid, I got nothing. I'm sorry I wasn't the son that you wanted.
I think the people that really matter in your life are far more willing to forgive than you might expect.
This is it. This is everything.
Hello, everyone. This is Heather Hurt with the NRW, where nerds rule the world, and this is probably the first time I haven't sounded like I'm a newscaster coming into one of these. I'm here with the legendary KAYFABEYBABY, and we are here to talk about Day of the Fight, a semi-ish new film. It's run the film circuit since 2023, which is. And to get into it, it's basically kind of your cliche boxer film, and we'll get into that. But we're here to talk Day of the Fight. KAYFABEYBABY and I both have some really interesting interviews. I have one that's coming out. Both of KAYFABEYBABY's, I believe, are already out, right, sir? They're both already on the. Yes. Okay. He got to speak with director Jack Huston and Nicolette Robinson, who plays Jessica in the film. With that being said, I just am. The reason why I am leading this is I am fresh off an interview with this man right here, the one, the only
legend
boy himself, Ron Perlman. Yes, I actually got to thank him as a comic retailer. I was really excited. So I talked to him for like 1.5 seconds before I realized that I was already in a recording state about that. Anyway, Day of the Fight. It is a black and white film about this young gentleman right here, Irish Mike Flanagan. Flanagan. Yes.
Flanagan.
Yes. Irish Mike Flanagan. Who has been forcibly retired for the past 10 years due to an incident that occurred when he was drunk driving. We will try to make this a spoiler for you as possible. The movie is out, but this is one of.
It's in limited release. It was like Heather said, it had the festival circuit last year. It got limited release November 15th, 2024. But because it's becoming such a critical darling, and that's how I got notice of it and how Heather and I got involved, I think it's going to get an even wider distribution going into 2025 because it's only in limited theaters. So when you see that it's coming, y'all, you'll find out from this review as we get done talking. You'll want to go check this out. But my apologies, Heather. I just wanted to
it's okay.
Let the people know.
To slightly correct, because that's what we do here, we banter. To slightly correct, it actually officially went on to release in LA and New York as of last week of this recording, December 6th. It did have limited releases, like to KAYFABEYBABY's statement, at very select theaters across the US, I believe. But it is officially out in LA and New York as of December 6th, and as of today, December 13th of this recording. It is also being released in San Francisco, Dallas, in 2 other cities that I can't remember right now, but it definitely check your area reviews and see where you can find them. And then once again, they are looking at a much wider release in early 2025. But to get back into it, black and white film, but to stay back, I'm sorry for spoilers. This is one of those movies that you get emotionally connected to, and we will talk about it. We will get into the emotional connection, and a lot of that shouldn't be shared. It should be watched and seen for yourself. Even if we don't like a movie, we will tell you why you should see something, because that's what a critic's job is to get you into a theater, to get you onto your digital and finding something fun and different to watch. Not saying that we don't like this movie, but just as an example, we want you to see and experience this movie at an emotional level. So we're going to try and limit spoilers. So with that being said, classic 90s boxer film in black and white, and it is inspired by a Stanley Kubrick documentary from the 1950s, I think, called Day of the Fight, in which it's basically the same thing. A young man is getting to fight for the championship after he has been retired for an extended period of time. The film takes course over a single day, as in Day of the Fight. It takes place Mikey's day leading up to his big return to the championship ring for a title after that 10-year period. All right, now that I've confused you enough, PUP. I'm sorry. Let's talk cast. I apologize. The film was directed and written by Jack Huston, Jack Huston. I think that's how you say his name, right? There's no O, so Texans. I'm a Texan, so I'm a little confused by. This is his directorial debut, and he has one hell of a damn cast. John Magaro plays Patrick, his Mikey's best friend. Joe Pesci. We're going to talk about Joe Pesci. Joe Pesci, who plays Mike's father, and honestly, that was a bit of a spoiler, and I kind of didn't tell you. Steve Buscemi, who plays Mike's uncle. Michael Pitt, who plays Mike Flanagan. Ron Perlman, once again, gentlemen, I'm so bad at green screen, I got to interview, who plays Stevie, and Nicolette Robinson, who plays Jessica, Mikey's ex-wife. All right, now that I've gotten everything out of the way, KUP, initial thoughts of this film.
So when I got wind of it, I was like, okay, we get a lot of indie films, and that's kind of like the frame of mind when this came in. I was like, okay, I hope it's good, because in most cases, they're not. Let's be honest. And so it was some time, booked the interviews, and I was intrigued because I am a boxing fan. Was very curious with it being in black and white, because to me, most black and white films that I've had the pleasure of seeing, I've really enjoyed. But you're a modern film trying to do black and white. You better work. And it did. And I loved it. I was very pleasantly surprised when I finally laid eyes on the film. It has all the makings, although it's in black and white. And I think people will also compare this to Raging Bull in a lot of different ways, which is a classic. And also features Joe Pesci, which is crazy that Joe Pesci is in this. But the fact that the way this film plays out in its script, this down on the luck boxer who, had a career, things happened, and now he's back in the fight again, and we're following him on the day of this new fight, and just everything that he's doing in case things go right or go wrong or whatever, just all of that makeup. You really get locked in. It's a really well-written piece. Even though there's also not a lot of communication, it's a lot of facial expressions. It's a lot of experiences, seeing him interact and emotes in different ways, and with the community that he lives in, and his ex-wife or mother of his child.
Ex-wife.
Interacting with his child, his coach, or manager. I forgot. Ron Perlman is his coach or his manager. I keep forgetting boxing. Like, is your manager?
I think they're one and the same.
Yeah.
Because all you hear, he's only
people are going to
Stevie.
take my boxing card away. Like,
he's only Stevie. So to be fair, okay, I'll do it this way. I don't know sports ball. So I'm going to just say he's Stevie.
So thank you, Heather. But just the camera work, everything that they did, I thought was really well done. When they go back in time, but everything was handled and set the mood. You felt the area. Just it gave me that Raging Bull vibe, the Rocky vibe, the OG Rocky vibes. The other Rockies were all right, but it gave me that OG Rocky vibe. It just felt like a classic film, but a lot better than some of those projects. It surprised me as an independent film. Highlighted by the actor that plays Mike Flanagan,
Michael Pitt.
Michael Pitt. Shout out to Michael Pitt. The ex-wife, Nicolette Robinson, who again, like Heather said, I had the pleasure of talking to. Very jealous that she got to talk to Ron Perlman. Just everybody involved. Oh my God. I'm looking at the cast list. I have another friend that worked on this film. Shout out to my man, Dennis J. Funny. He played a paramedic. That's cool. That just took me by surprise. Just an amazing job. It was a pleasant surprise as critics like Heather and I, we watch so many films all the time, monthly, weekly, daily. And I really enjoyed this one. And I can see why it's getting the love, the accolades. I pushed it I talked to other friends about this that are part of other critics organizations because it's up for awards. And they're like, I'm not so sure on that one. I'm like, check it out. And they're in love with it. So, it's all, there's certain films that just grab you. This film grabs you. You feel for this guy. You want to cheer for this guy. And just well done. It just was a very enjoyable film. And I know I probably went longer than what did you think, Patrick? But
No, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's okay. I word vomited the first half of this video, so it's fine.
We're sharing word vomits.
So leading into that, I am not a sports human. I am fascinated by it, but I'm not one of those people that's running to see sports human movies. So to me, and this is actually a very common statement amongst many people, if you look at just like the general reviews from everyone, because once again, we also want to stay up to date with other people think, because it's only fair to know how our opinions compare to others so that we can keep on the top of how to be good critics so that we can give you good information. And I'm happy to report kind of that my opinion kind of went along with other people. So hey, I'm doing my job. But anyway, unfortunately, one of the big things that does hit this is that it is incredibly cliche. This film is based in the 90s, and it is specifically supposed to be a 90s boxing, like a late 80s, early 90s boxing movie. But to give some contrast to that, it is a story of atonement, a story of acceptance. So we get to see how Mikey is now living his life after the sins. In so many ways, that there's a level of Catholicism in this, and you'll see what I mean. It's not like it's not a Christian or anything movie. It's just there's a level of personal religion that comes up, and it's so I'm going to say it's Catholicism a little bit based. So he's also Irish. Come on now. But it's about his story and about what he has done and how hard he has worked to get where he is today, to get this fight, to have these friends, to have these people in his life, and how he has atoned and how he is trying to do better as a human being. So the good news, the worst part about this movie is it is riddled with cliches. If you're not a boxing fan, this movie is probably not for you. In all reality, if I wasn't speaking to Mr. Perlman, I probably wouldn't have seen this movie. It's just not the type of movie for me. I mean, that's okay. We all have movies that's not for us. On the other hand, if you want a movie that has a lot of emotion, has a lot of heart, there is a specific moment where he's listening to his Walkman and he talks to a young girl whose mother is of the smexy business type. I'm not getting too much further into it. And it's a very sweet and loving moment. There is a moment, and I'm going to brag about this one probably until the day I die. I got to make Ron Perlman cry in an interview. Definitely check out my interview. Also, to tag in, him and I also got to talk about the black and whiteness of this movie and how it might not have been approved when Huston got his money at production. So definitely take a look. But I got to talk to him about the incredibly emotional ending of this film. This is a very heartfelt movie. So it is a sports ball movie, but it's also just a movie with a lot of heart. It is a period piece. It is based in the 90s, which I can't believe I'm calling a 90s film a fucking period piece.
What did you think of the black and white? If I can just butt in real quick.
Sure.
For you, it's a 90s period piece. And it's crazy to say that 90s period.
It's fucking period piece.
I loved it being in black and white. I don't know.
I like it.
Again, I'll see I'll see and hear that conversation. So I'm excited to hear that portion of your interview with Ron. But what for you? Like, what did you think of it being in black?
And that's kind of how I put it. I was just like, hey, and you and I have actually seen quite a few movies in black and white, specifically this year.
Yeah.
And the way I formed it to Ron is I was like, hey, how do you feel about the resurgence of black and white? And I'll let him answer the question for it. But it was a very interesting statement because it's still not accepted very much in Hollywood today because they think that this stuff isn't good. And it actually gives it a level of nuance that a lot of classic film lovers, a lot of cinephiles really enjoy. I like it. I like the Schindler's List-esque. There might be just a wee bit of color here and there. It gives a movie emotion and it allows the story to be a character of within the film. I loved it. I think it was a great way to look at it. I also think it was a great way to pay homage to Kubrick's original story. Once again, this is a very, very baseline connection to the Kubrick documentary, but I felt like that was one of the true elements that called back to that original documentary, was that it was in black and white. Okay. All right. Now that we've talked about that, are you cool? Is that a good answer? I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just really liked I like it when people do that. And you summed it up with what you said. It just gives it that grit, that gravitas, because it's a gritty movie. This guy is a gritty guy. It's boxing. Like, yeah, I thought it was just a great choice.
And yes, I agree. But I want to talk about an even greater choice because I did not realize this when I watched it. I have to do this. I'm sorry. He has only a couple of minutes on scene. I probably on film, maybe 15 minutes in total. I did not fucking realize that was goddamn fucking Joe Pesci until the final his final moments in the film. He gets two scenes. I did not recognize that is how amazing Pesci is in the role that he is playing. He has almost no role in so many respects. If you look at it from like a traditional like call sheet, but the character he plays is so incredible. The way he plays it, the way he does it. I literally at the final scene where we see him, I paused the video and I just said, "Is that fucking Joe Pesci?" And when I was in the interview with Ron, because he made a comment about him, and I was just like, I didn't realize that was like I accidentally interrupted the Ron Perlman because I had no idea. I had to announce how incredible of that 15-minute period was. One of the incredible things, one of the most notable things about this film is there will be moments that will absolutely take your breath away. And there will be moments that make you cry in unexpected ways. Is the movie perfect? Meow. It is not. Is there a cat that makes it a little better? Yes. And are some... And I bring that up for a reason. There's one cat scene that's very, 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 very sweet. Anyhow, all right. We've talked about characters. Did you have anyone that stood out to you? I'm gonna say other than Michael Pitt, because he's cheating. He did phenomenal in this role.
Yeah,
but
I'll be definitely checking for Michael Pitt in the future. Great young actor. I hadn't seen him in any. I might have seen him. I got to look at the IMDb. I might have seen him in other stuff, but this, was a great feature. He led the film. Just a really well done role. Nicolette Robinson, who I got to speak with, I like that their relationship, they went through some shit and we're going through stuff even on the day of this fight, but there's still love there. I thought that was just very sweet, and just how again, I don't want to spoil, but how the people still show up for each other in certain respects. And there's a moment, and we talked about it a little bit, I don't know if we talked about during this or before Heather and I got recording, that will bring you to tears. And it might be cliche, it might be 90s style stuff.
Most 90s moment in the entire...
It's
even more than the Walkman. That is one of the most 90s moments in this freaking video.
But so beautiful. And just bravo to first-time director Jack Huston. Or Huston. Now you got me doing it, Heather. Jack Huston. who, and he's at first and foremost an actor, but now is a filmmaker, writer, producer himself. And I love that his friends came out to show out for him, and you can see why. This is a wonderful film. Not perfect in different respects, or at least maybe not for Heather. I thought it was great. I think this is a great entry for somebody who's now going to be doing more work like this. So would love to see what Jack is going to do in front of and behind the camera now, especially now behind the camera, because this is a great initial effort. And yeah, bravo. I really had a good time with this. And also, again, the reason why I'm really wanting to support this and why Heather and I are talking all about it, we booked the interviews and it's an indie film, but why it's getting this love is like, this stands out with big budget projects that are out there. Support independent film. That was one of the key things too when Jack and I got done talking towards the end of our interview. Man, we got to be out here for these independent filmmakers that don't have these big budgets, these big Hollywood budgets. These are labors of love. These are stories that need to be told when they're not getting funded by the studios. It's so important to have these voices and films like these. So yeah, definitely want to support this film. So if it's going to be in limited release, and as Heather said, it's LA, New York, hopefully even wider. So if you see it, check it out. If it comes when it comes to digital, support it. Support independent film because you'll get classic films like this. I thought it was great.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm trying to get which I had it written down in my notes for the interview, and then I totally lost it. There's 5 or 6 cities that it's coming to once again as of today, so definitely check it out. Try and see where it is closer to you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost it. I also, if you hear a dog in the background, I'm puppy sitting. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Day of the Fight out in limited in expanding. I'm gonna call it that. I'm expanding release now in theaters.
That's a good one. Good word.
It's their word, not mine. I'm just stealing it. And definitely check it out where you can, and then check it out on digital when it's available. If you have any questions, if you like this movie, if you've seen this movie already, because once again, it's been out for quite a bit at a circuit level. Tell us if you disagree with the fact that I should be watching more sports movies. Tell us in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all those things. Definitely check out our interviews. The 2 of them are already up. The other one is coming. Thank you guys so much, and we'll talk to you all soon.